Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is my no-buy list for 2025. Things that I don't want to purchase for my wardrobe. The reason I'm making a no-buy list and creating this video is because sometimes, without knowing it, when we purchase things unintentionally, it's actually stopping us from achieving our dream style and getting those pieces that we actually want and can actually elevate our everyday outfits. I have spent so much money in previous years buying things that were on sale, buying things on a whim, buying things for instant gratification. And the worst thing is, I realized that with all the money I had spent, I could have ticked off a lot of things that have been sitting on my wish list for 5-10 years. As a girl who loves fashion, loves style, loves a little luxury in her wardrobe, for me, this video is about buying less but buying the things I actually want and not getting distracted by everything else. For you, this could also mean just spending less money on clothes, spending less money on accessories, and putting it towards other things you prioritize. No matter if you're fashion girly and you just want to maximize your wardrobe, or if you're trying to save for something else, I hope this video gives you some inspiration to create your own no-buy list. And of course, it's gonna look a little different from person to person. The first thing on my no-buy list are jeans in 2025. So the reason for this is, to be honest, I had a few credit that was about to expire at the end of last year. So I did add a few pairs of jeans to my collection just because they were like denim brands. And because of that, my jean collection is looking pretty full, and this is the year I really want to get the cost per wear down for these jeans. I want to restyle all of the pieces I have in many ways, and I don't want to look at a new pair of jeans for a while. As you can see, I've got white, I've got light blue, I've got medium blue, I've got dark blue. The whole family is here. The jeans I'm especially excited to get some more wear from are these frame jeans. So these are like a cropped bootleg jean. The shape is a little bit slimmer than what I would normally go for, so I want to experiment a little bit with this shape and get lots of wear. I also have a few pairs of wide leg jeans, whether that is this one from Everlane or a pair of Rollers sailor jeans I have. I want to wear these two pairs a lot this year, and I do feel like the silhouette is very me. I just need to start creating outfits with them. To be honest, I often ask myself, especially when my collection is adequate, why do I want to buy a new item? Sometimes it's not because I truly want to wear it or enjoy it. It's simply because I want something fresh and something new and something exciting. And for me, that's not good enough a reason to add something to my wardrobe. I need to genuinely be super excited to wear that item, that specific item, and not be drawn to just the idea of something new. The next thing on my no-buy list are shirts. So white shirt, blue shirt, striped shirts. These are some of the most classic pieces in a wardrobe, but I have learned over the last year especially that these are not for me, especially when they're in very oversized cuts with large pockets, large collar details. I find that this does not give me effortless, it does not give me classic, it does not give me cool girl vibes. I just look very sloppy in these items. I recommend everyone, especially if you're looking to buy new clothes, to rethink what basics are in your wardrobe. Don't just take what we most commonly associate with being a wardrobe basic and make that a basic in your wardrobe. You really want to see what you feel the best in already and then go from there. Because shirts, as classic as they are never going to be a staple for me. I don't own any very classic or oversized shirts right now, and I'm happy to keep this on my no-buy list for 2025. I am such a knitwear lover. I knit myself. This looks like absolutely nothing right now because it's got one sleeve and it's super cropped. But I love to knit and I love knitwear. Something that's on my no-buy list for knitwear is anything that is too shapeless, too undefined, or the shoulder is very dropped and doesn't give much definition. I sometimes feel like with knitwear like this style, where it's dropped on the shoulder and quite loose through the body, that it starts off looking pretty nice. At the beginning, kind of looks cool and effortless, but in a few months, in a year, it starts to go from effortless to sloppy because it stretches out a little bit, the shape is not as defined as it used to be, and that's why I'm avoiding silhouettes like this. Not because of how they look at the beginning, but how they end up looking. because it's stretched out a little in the shape. In the knitwear that I do buy, I'm always looking for necklines that are very reinforced. So either they've got a pretty prominent rib detail or they're folded down, but basically it's got enough structure here to hold its shape over time. I hate like a floppy, sloppy neckline. As I've been knitting, I've also learned some things that changes the way I shop for knitwear. Another item on my no-buy list for knitwear is anything that is too soft. When it comes to knitwear, a lot of people have skin sensitivity, in which case, do go for the soft knits and what your skin can tolerate. But for me, who has pretty normal skin, I like to find a balance between soft and a little bit more rough and durable. If we think of it like a spectrum between soft and rougher knits, I like it somewhere in the middle. The reason for this is that very soft yarns usually have been through more chemical processing. What this means for us is that softer yarns have a tendency to peel more than rougher alternatives. It can sometimes be a trade-off between wanting something really soft or wanting something durable, wanting something that has a tendency to peel or something that is a little rougher but more resistant to peeling. I used to wonder when I started knitting why some people would choose the rougher yarn versus the really soft yarns. But over time, I have noticed that it's because the rougher yarns are more durable, they don't peel as much, and they've got their own benefits, but it's really about what your skin can tolerate as well. On my no-buy list, I've got the ultra soft yarns, the ultra soft sweaters. I want it to last and I want to get the cost per wear down, hence going for something in the middle. It's also one of those things where if you're buying a chunky cardigan that you're definitely not going to be wearing next to skin, then you can go a little bit rougher, because that is going to be more durable for you over time. And if it doesn't touch your skin, then it doesn't matter as much. The disclaimer here is that, of course, there are still just low quality wools that are very rough, so keep that in mind. But if it looks like a good quality wool and it's slightly rougher, it's not always a bad thing. I have been truly in my jewelry era, and I feel like 2025 is going to be a big jewelry year for me, where I start experimenting a lot more than previous years. So in 2024, I have downsized my collection a lot. So my jewelry collection is pretty small these days. There's not as much variety as there used to be, but I do feel like what I have, I love. It's gone through my declutter test. The first jewelry pieces on my no-buy list are statement or stand-alone jewelry items. So what I mean are super chunky pieces or larger items that look really beautiful as standalone pieces, but maybe they weren't designed for layering. So I have a few statement rings that fall into this category. I have a few bigger earrings where they look best alone as opposed to layered. Maybe also chunkier bracelets that are so chunky that layering is just distracting. The reason this is on my no-buy list is because I have a couple of pieces like this already in my collection and I'm content for now. And what I really want to bring to life from my inspiration are stacks and layering. I've been saving photos like this for years, but I've never made it happen. Partially because I feel like the pieces I own are all too chunky and too standalone, and I haven't curated the base pieces to work with. But also, it's just like laziness. It's so much easier just to wear one bracelet and be done. I am often drawn to larger pieces, statement pieces, key pieces, but this year I do want to take a step back from these, do a little no-buy here so I can save up for items I want for layering. Sometimes you'll see that I say I'm not buying something because I want to get something else instead, but honestly, that is the kind of intention I do want for my wardrobe. For me, it's not about not buying anything, but it's really about not buying things that are not intentional, I haven't thought about, and not buying things just for the sake of buying things, but getting pieces I actually want to wear and enjoy for years to come. This is something I'm going to carry through from last year into 2025. So no buying boring everyday shoes. I'm a really heavy walker. I can walk up to 1-2 hours a day, and I'm not a slow walker. I'm just a little bit slower than a light jog. So I used to think that because of this, I can only wear very comfortable, very simple shoes. And last year was a year that made me see this a little bit differently. I feel like I have found everyday shoes that are very comfortable, but still make me feel very chic in them. Let me share with you my reasoning behind wanting to find very cute everyday shoes. I'm often wearing outfits like this, you know, a nice blouse, but like pretty comfortable pants, overall simple. So in a simple outfit, shoes are often the thing that will make me feel very pulled together or make me feel a little bit frumpy. And when I can get the shoes right, it just does wonders to tie any of my boring looks together and make it look 10 times better. It's a cliche, but shoes can really do that. Outerwear is a bit of a struggle for me because I love outerwear. They're like the most exciting things because they are the outfit in autumn winter. But they take up a lot of space in my 1-bedroom and study apartment, so I never want too many options, but I also love outerwear. Something that's on my no-buy list are any coats where I don't feel like the quality is going to make it last at least 5 years. I don't want a low quality coat that won't last at least 5 years. I know from my past coats that 5 years is a pretty reasonable time for a coat to last. I purchased this mango coat 5 years ago. Only this year did I decide to replace it with something that was just a little bit higher in wool percentage, a little bit thicker, more durable, but it did last me 5 years. And in the first 2 or 3 years, this was my daily coat in the winter, so it lasts. And this is a difference between kind of a very good quality coat and something lower quality. I also had a Uniqlo coat. It was like 30% wool or 50% wool. The peeling was so bad. I should have known because I remember seeing it for the first time, and even then the fabric was a little bit thin. The fabric was a little bit pilly along some of the edges and the high wear areas. I should have known, but I think I just didn't pay attention and therefore it didn't last. So try to aim for at least 5 years, and you can tell this by the composition. It gives a very good indicator. I like to have at least 50% wool, and then of course the higher the better. Check along the edges of the coat. Check along maybe like the inside of the coat if it's double faced. Check on the high wear areas that have already gotten a little bit of pressure or movement. Make sure that those areas are not peeling or showing signs of wear, because that's a bad first impression. While it's impossible to know at first glance if it's gonna last 5 years, you can definitely choose the properties that will most likely help it last a long time. My favorite coats are the curated, a little bit thinner, but very warm because it's 100% wool. It's like a cashmere merino blend. I really like Andoversori's coats. I've tried a few and they're very durable and the material is thick. It's a little bit heavy, but the material is good. Mango is hit and miss, but I have found some very, very, very good coats from Mango, especially when they're like 60-70% wool. I think it's very good. Something you may have heard about is the lipstick effect. So I heard about this almost 10 years ago in one of my finance classes. I used to study finance. The lipstick effect is when we want to purchase small things like a lipstick, an everyday luxury. The idea is that we often make small purchases when times are tough, just to give us the feeling of something new and something exciting. When I am in the mood to shop, purely because I wanna get something new, I will often buy an item of makeup or a lipstick. The problem with this is that a lipstick can last me 100 to 200 wears. So when I buy things on a whim, it then creates a lot of guilt for my future self because I have to use this item up. And I have to decide whether I want to use it 200 times or whether I want to waste this item that I brought into my collection. On a whim, when we buy things, sometimes we're also taking away our savings. So it's gonna take us longer to buy the things that we truly want. And I just want to think more about my future self, think about if what I'm doing right now is harmful for my long-term wardrobe planning. And most of the time when I buy something on a whim, it is. All of that is to say that on my no-buy list, I'm going to include any item of makeup where I don't have a goal or a purpose for the item. If I wanted to recreate a look and I've tried everything in my collection, I can then add this item to wish list and go buy it. But if I'm just browsing and I don't know which look I want to achieve and I'm just buying for the sake of it, and I haven't compared it against my collection, then that's going to be on my no-buy. Anything that is without a clear purpose. On my personal no-buy list, I also have clothing and accessories in camel or a medium tone beige. These are two colors that should work on me. They're warm toned, they're neutral, they're easy to wear, but I never ever like them on my skin tone. I think it's too close to my skin tone, it's too low contrast, and it just doesn't really work. And if it does work objectively, it doesn't work for my personal style because I hate it on myself. So camels, no. Medium beige, I don't like. I tend to like my neutrals quite light or quite dark. So I can't do like a very, very light beige. I really like creams, ivories, whites. And I also like your navies, your dark browns, your black. So having enough contrast against my skin tone and my features usually makes me feel a lot more put together than those medium tones. This is so not universal. This is very much tailored to me and my style. So for you, this can look like avoiding black, avoiding white, avoiding bright colors. It's all about you, but for me, it's camel, it's beige. I have always been a lover of statement pieces, of key pieces, and I still feel that without them, my wardrobe would be so boring. But something that's changed in my style is that I prefer items to only have one key detail, so it's easier to mix and match with other things I own. I really value getting lots of repetition from what I buy. It makes me feel more inspired about that piece. On my no-buy list, I have any item of clothing that has more than 3 details. So lots of clothing pieces fall into this, but having too many details just means that it's easier for me to get bored of them. I much prefer in my wardrobe pieces like the top I'm wearing, where it's got that lace detail, but other than that, it's pretty simple. So I can combine it with other colors and other textures to create a more maximal, playful look, or I can tone it down to wear with black pants and keep it very simple. It gives me a lot of range. Whereas if I'm choosing a key piece that already has 3+ elements, then it's not really giving me that same flexibility. It's always going to look a little busier rather than very simple or minimal. We also have to talk about duplicates, and I've been looking at a few stripe pieces lately because I love stripes. Stripe bedding, my quilt cover stripes, you can't really see it, but my pillowcase is also striped. My throw out there is striped. I've got striped cups and plates. Stripes really take over my space and my wardrobe. So on my no-buy list, I've got pieces that duplicate in function. And what I mean by this is that, for example, I've got my Leontine striped knit, and it's in this medium weight cotton. Because I have this item, it wouldn't make sense for me to bring another cotton sweater in this color combination into my wardrobe, or just like a medium cotton sweater in any stripe. But it would actually make sense for me to have a striped t-shirt. It would make sense for me to have a very thick wool striped knit because these 3 items have such different functions and they never really overlap when I wear them throughout the year. I'm never gonna decide between a striped t-shirt or a striped sweater because that completely depends on functionality. I think duplicates become a problem for me because it creates a lot of decision fatigue. I often feel like if I have too many of the same pieces, I get so overwhelmed by choice that it makes me less creative. I don't want more cotton striped knits because I have the perfect one in my wardrobe. So if I'm deciding whether to add, another stripe or another black dress to my wardrobe, it's really not so much just about the way it looks, but when I'm going to wear it, the function of it, and whether the function duplicates something else I own. The final thing to talk about in this video is that I'm on a no-buy for anything marketed as Scandi or minimalist. And this is a long time coming, but for my personal style these days, I don't want to fight against my body type. For years, I was making cos pieces work for me in the sense that I would work hard styling them and finding the right pieces so that they looked okay on me. They looked average, they looked not bad. And I think I really want clothing that just enhances me now and makes me look my best. I don't want to fight against my body shape to just look okay. And that's what I feel like happens when I wear a lot of Scandi brands. So COS, Arquette, Philippa K, Totem. All of these kind of brands, they're very sculptural, they're very cool, often very high quality, but in such contrast to my structure. I know now that I can still create a minimalist look, but I can't wear these brands to create that, and I can't wear the exact pieces as a Scandi girl to create a minimal look. Minimalist is not the look I'm ever going for these days, it's not my style, but that's just an example. For me, I really like myself in slightly closer fitting pieces these days, things that look very neat. Sometimes I'll add in one oversized piece, but that's it. Scandi basics look messy on me. It doesn't give me minimalist. Whereas other pieces, it might write fit will actually give me that clean, simple look that I crave when I was buying the COS and the Arquette. So no more Scandi basics, no more ultra minimalist sculptural pieces. This is the year and moving forward as well that I just wear the things that enhance. If you're enjoying today's video, I would love for you to go check out my new newsletter. Comes out every fortnight. It's all about what not to buy, because I know firsthand that buying the wrong things sometimes creates a lot of chaos in our wardrobe. So this newsletter is all about the things that I don't buy, things that I've tried and doesn't work, things I'm sending back, and a lot of the stuff I don't share on Instagram or on YouTube. So it gives me a chance to exclusively share it in the newsletter. So it's free, subscribe down below. I would love to share all the little things that I'm learning with you. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I will see you next week. Bye.